Hey everyone, Sam here, thanks for joining me. In this video I'm going to show you how to paint one of my favourite subjects, painting mountains, but with particular focus on painting a mountain stream. Now there's loads of ways of painting water, but in this video I'm going to show you how you can paint a shimmering effect as the sun reflects off the surface of the water. And this is a cool little trick you can use for painting realistic water. Now if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And if you'd like to have a go at painting this, then check the written notes below. I've put the link there in the description, so if you want to have a go at painting it, feel free to copy the painting and use the reference photo that I've provided. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Get your paintbrushes ready and let's roll the tape. Now, for anyone that's followed my art journey or watched my painting videos for a little while, might notice that I've painted this mountain and this area quite a few times. It's just one of the most stunning locations I've ever been to in New Zealand, and the mountains themselves naturally form a good composition. I've also been painting here on plein air many times as well, and the video footage here just doesn't do justice to how amazing this place is. So this painting is inspired by a view of Mount Talbot that was on a crisp late winter day, so there's still lots of snow on the mountains, the air was crisp and still, and due to the time of the year being late winter, the sun was still relatively low in the sky, which was bathing the side of the mountains with soft light and reflecting off the mountain stream, producing this really awesome shimmering effect that looks great in paintings. So in this video I'm just going to mainly focus on painting the mountain stream, but I'll also show you some of the process of how this painting came together. Now I'm painting on a 10 by 12 linen panel, so it's a pre-made panel and it's linen that's glued to Baltic birch and made by a company in the USA, and I've put a link in the description to that. I've toned the linen surface with a layer of burnt sienna, which just helps to give the painting a more traditional feel and helps with colour and tone. After I've sketched out my composition, the first thing I do is establish all my dark values first, which are usually found in the shadows. Now I learnt this through painting outdoors with other artists who pointed out that painting all the dark values first makes life easier for you when you paint outdoors, because then it doesn't matter that the light changes. And I actually found that this was really useful when applied to studio work as well, because you can just quickly establish a tonal dynamic, and then it makes it much easier to add the areas in light and get the appropriate saturation of your colours right, as well as the values. Value refers to how light or dark a subject is. We'll find our darkest darks and our lightest lights, as well as our most saturated colour in the foreground. Yet as the landscape recedes into the distance, darks are not quite dark and lights are not quite light. Also, many colours in the landscape tend to drop out the further they are into the distance, especially greens and yellows, so this is where we need to learn how to desaturate colours. And this can often be achieved by mixing in colour opposites together and mixing in white. So here I've quickly established all my shadows, and this was just a combination of ultramarine blue with burnt sienna and titanium white. Then as I've come further forward, I've also introduced a little bit of quinacridone crimson just to add a little violet to some of those shadows. Skies are one of the lightest values you'll find in the landscape, and I've kept the sky simple here with a mix of titanium white, a little ultramarine blue and a little cobalt blue. I next paint these snow shadows in the side of the mountain, and most of the mountain here is in shadow. And there's a general rule of thumb, mountains tend to look best when they're either 3/4 in light or 3/4 in shadow. And in this case they're mostly in shadow, probably more than 3/4. But those areas that are in the full sunlight really go a long way to creating a three-dimensional effect in the mountains. Now the snow here is the same mix as the sky, but just with less titanium white. At this stage of the painting I'm not at all concerned about details, I'm just using loose gestural brush marks with a number 6 flat brush. There will be plenty of time for detail later on in the painting, But at this stage, that loose brushwork is going to really help to create an aliveness within the painting. I quickly get straight into painting the snow highlights on the side of the mountain, which is a mix of titanium white with a little burnt sienna, and the burnt sienna just helps to make that snow sit back in the landscape so it's not jumping forward because the value is so light. And then I'm able to use that same colour in the whitewater rapids in the mountain stream. At this stage, I'm really just creating broad zones of information that I can then build detail upon later on. So once I've painted this, I paint the blue of the mountain stream, and this is a mix of ultramarine blue with a little yellow oxide, you can also use yellow ochre as well, and titanium white, and this helps to make a nice rich greenish blue that you would see in mountain streams. This is always a good colour combination, and you can even use this in seascapes as well. Now I'm already quickly establishing the bones of this painting, and the next thing to work on is the midground where there's trees and mountain grass, which is a kind of a straw colour, as well as other plants and shrubs in there. There's a mixture of greens, but none of them are overly saturated. And the base of my colour that I mainly use here is a mix of ultramarine blue with yellow oxide and titanium white. I'll also round off the mixture with some quinacridone crimson, which just adds a red element to it, and this is perfect for painting distant hills, especially with the mountain grass on there. But then also I can increase the saturation by perhaps mixing in some cadmium yellow or cadmium orange or even some phthalo green. So I play around with these colours a little bit, but the main thing is if I'm finding that they're too saturated, then I can just knock it back by mixing in a colour opposite, so something that contains red. So this can be burnt sienna or cadmium orange or cadmium red or quinacridone crimson. Now once I've established those main zones of colour, I then just tidy up the whole painting in the blocking in stage and just get it ready so that I can leave it to dry, and then I can start adding detail to it. Now once the painting was dry, I then started adding details and making adjustments to the colours and values in the mountains and the sky. I also started using smaller brushes for the finer detail within the painting. But I'm always conscious not to add too much detail to distant landforms or even in the midground, as I don't want the detail to start confusing the eye. Very often just putting the suggestion of detail goes a long way as the human brain fills in the rest of the information. I spent time painting the exposed rock faces in the side of Mount Talbot in the background, and also painting the details in the snow. And I then began working my way forward in the painting, so working on those midground mountains, which are pretty complex, so I found the easiest thing to do was to make sure that the shadows really stand out, and then you can work around those and build up the rest of the details. When working on the foliage in the midground, so those trees and the mountain grass, I restated a lot of the shadows that are in the trees and some of those grasses there. And then I continued to add more layers of paint, and I mixed up a bunch of greens that were lighter in value than the previous layers. Now I've found that bristle dagger brushes are really great for painting foliage and grass, and this is what I've used in the midground here. Now, as with many elements in a landscape, painting moving water can be tricky, so what I do is I just break it down into individual zones and just try and simplify the whole thing. And I actually started with what I felt was the easiest part of the water to paint, which was the rapids and the whitewater. This is going to be the most prominent thing that you'll see in the stream, because we're practically using white, which is obviously the lightest value, and it's therefore going to leap out in the painting. However, at this stage I'm not ready to use pure titanium white. I need to keep the value of that white darker, so that I've got plenty of room to add lighter layers on top. And this is going to help to build up the overall three-dimensional form of the stream and just make it look more realistic. So here what I do is I take my titanium white and I mix in a little ultramarine blue and burnt sienna. So in fact what I'm making here is a very light, warm, neutral grey. I apply the paint with a number 1 round brush and start forming some of those waves and ripples within the mountain stream. I've added more of that blue mix that I made before to the mountain stream just to reinforce the colour, and then I start painting the suggestion of a few ripples within the water, and these are in shadows, so all I've done here is I just mix ultramarine blue with a little yellow oxide but no titanium white. This is going to start adding more structure to the water that I can then layer more detail on top later on. Now another interesting feature in this water is that because it's so clear, you can see a lot of those mountain stones and boulders just beneath the surface. The water distorts the shape of these stones and also gives them an overall blue cast. For this I mix ultramarine blue with a little burnt sienna and titanium white, and I paint in those shadows. I'm then able to use the same colour combination but with more burnt sienna and titanium white to paint the areas of the stones that are in the full sunlight. But keep in mind it's still best to edge the mixture on the blue side, as the water itself is blue. Now at this point I had to let the water dry, and then I continued to add more detail to the mountains and the midground. In general, as I was building up the detail within the mountains and midground, I was adding lighter layers of paint, but more selectively in places to build up a three-dimensional form. Back to the mountain stream, which is now dry, and I'm able to start adding in more of those rocks and boulders that are sitting in the mountain stream. For this I continue to use a dark neutral grey, a mix of ultramarine blue with burnt sienna. And just for some of those rocks that are getting more in the distance of the stream, I've mixed in a little bit of titanium white just to make the value lighter. I keep my colour combinations relatively simple for the rocks and boulders. They are naturally low in chroma or saturation and consist of some neutral looking greys, maybe with a slight brown or blue cast to them. The next thing to do is to start painting more ripples and reflections within the water. It's mainly reflecting the sky, so for this I mix ultramarine blue with some cobalt blue and titanium white. I later on add further detail to the ripples and add some lighter colour, but also mix in some cobalt teal, which is a very nice greenish turquoise blue. Now at this point I've pretty much got the mountain stream ready so that I can add those final details, and I've been holding back on the value of the colours, keeping them a little darker so that when I add those final highlights they're really going to stand out. I'm using a 00 round brush, and I mix titanium white with a little bit of yellow oxide just to warm it up. And I start painting little dots which are going to communicate shimmering water like sparkles as it reflects the direct sun. I just paint a few of these to start with to see what it looks like as the stream meanders round the corner. I then focus my attention back on the rocks and paint the highlights and the reflected light within them. The reflected light's going to have a blue cast to it as it's reflecting the mountain stream, and again it's the same colours I was using before, a mix of ultramarine blue with burnt sienna and titanium white, and I'm generally edging that mixture on the blue side. I use the same colours for the rock highlights, but with much more burnt sienna and titanium white. Next I paint the rest of these sparkles on the water, and I've got to be honest, this is my favourite part of the painting. I've saved my lightest values until the end, and you can see how this works as those sparkles really stand out in the water. I'm also able to mix in a little bit of burnt sienna and a small amount of ultramarine blue just to paint some final highlights on some of those rocks, and the rocks that are in the midground on the side of the bank. This just helps to communicate strong sunlight. I make some pencil thin highlights on those large boulders on the left in the foreground, and as there was a lot of moss growing on them, I've created a quite saturated but light green mix of ultramarine blue with cadmium yellow, and then rounded it off with some cadmium orange. I've also mixed in a little bit of titanium white just to make the value lighter. I finish up the painting by just adding a few more highlights and details, mostly in the midground of the painting. But other than that, it was here that I decided the painting was complete. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you'd like to see more of my artwork, then you can follow me on Instagram and my website at samuelearp.com. If you'd like to learn more about landscape painting, then check out the video subscription service I have on Patreon, where for $5 a month you can get instant access to all of my full-length painting tutorial videos and a new video every month. Now, I've also uploaded all of my YouTube videos to Library, which is a brilliant decentralized video platform where you can earn rewards just through watching videos, so definitely check out this website. I think it's really cool. Now, I'm working on more paintings at the moment and I've got more videos in the pipeline, so I hope to get those out to you sooner. So stay tuned for more videos. I hope you enjoyed this video and I shall see you next time.